Hello, Rayclass. What is up? It is Zambash here, coming at you with a sort of mini build guide. This will be unscripted, and it'll be quite a bit shorter than my usual build guides because it is just a Molten Striker, which there's a million Molten Strike guides out there already. If you want to see more sort of details on the skill and stuff, there are plenty of other guides you can go look out there for Molten Strike, discussing all the ins and outs of how it works and why it's good. Basically, Molten Strike is just a really good skill, does amazing single target damage, and it has pretty good clear. So this plays just like any other Molten Strike character, but I'm just going to focus on the few things that we've changed here and sort of a build concept around a particular item. So we're only going to focus on what's different between this and other Molten Strike builds. At its base, this is a Chieftain Molten Strike build. We decided to go Chieftain for full fire conversion without having to use Avatar of Fire, which means we can still get full damage effectiveness from stuff like Hatred. The Chieftain also just has some other good nodes in general, really good for fire builds, and has a lot of regen and stuff, so it's pretty tanky. A lot of people do this kind of a build as a Juggernaut, but I decided to go with Chieftain. For weapons, we're using 2 Grellwood Shanks. There's a million weapons you can use for Molten Strike. You can use whatever kinds you want. Grellwood Shanks are cool if you're doing this sort of tanky, close range style. You get a couple extra projectiles from each one if you've been hit recently, so together they give you 4 extra projectiles. And they give you a lot of armor and stuff, so it's really nice for just standing and face tanking. And they put out really good damage with the extra projectiles, despite not being the highest DPS swords. And they don't have great crit, so you're probably not going to want to go crit with them. And we are going Elemental Overload, which ties into the other main item that we're using, which is sort of the main concept for this character and what I was building around, and that is the Effigon Amulet. The Effigon Amulet gives you 10% Fire Pen, and hits cannot be evaded against blinded enemies. So then all you have to do is figure out how to blind enemies. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. You could use a Stibnite Flask for a Smoke Cloud. There is a Shaper Glove mod that gives chance to global blind. And of course you've also got Abyssal Jewels. On this character I decided to go with an Abyssal Jewel in a Tomb Fist Gloves. And all you need is just one blind roll somewhere. Molten Strike hits so many times per second with all the balls and stuff that even just like 4% chance to blind somewhere still pretty much gives you a guaranteed blind within 1 second of hitting something, so then you'll get your hits can't be evaded and your fire penetration. Hits can't be evaded, of course, goes very nice with Elemental Overload because you usually don't invest into any crit nodes when you're going Elemental Overload, so you really want to make sure that all of your hits have 100% chance to hit so that you can crit reliably enough to have your Elemental Overload up most of the time. Now we'll go ahead and look into the passive tree. Start as a Marauder here, of course. We go down through the life, up through more life, and across this weapon wheel. I originally started by leveling with 2-handers because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with the build originally, so I leveled with 2-handers, went up through Butchery, eventually respec back down into Strong Arm. Then you head over through the Barbarism life, and I think I grabbed Resolute Technique while leveling because Elemental Overload is a long ways away and wasn't worth it at that point. Depending on what weapons you're using, you can grab one of the mace, axe, or sword wheels while you're leveling. Eventually, once you switch to the Grellwood Shanks, you're definitely going to want your sword wheels, of course. So you grab Razor's Edge and Blade Master there at the main sword wheel. Head down through Iron Grip and grab Life. Grab Lava Lash along the way. We're full fire, so that's a really nice node for us. Head up through the Frenzy Charge and this Life up into the Duelist area to get your Art of the Gladiator and Master the Arena. Grab the dual wielding nodes there. Then you can go down and grab Ambidexterity, that little dual wielding node you're next to. Since we go full fire conversion, we can't rely on Mana Leech from gear, so we have to head over here to this little Mana Leech wheel. Just grab the Life and Mana Leech node is plenty for your Mana Leech, just one node. And then I grabbed the Life Leech stuff there as well to get the max Life Leech rate on Vitality Void. And I also, as you can see, eventually grabbed Hematophagy for more Life Leech rate. So we leech a lot of life, and we have a ton load of regen on this character. You can save 3 points going over to Point Blank. You don't have to if you're using the Grellwood Shanks, because they give you Point Blank. If you're using another weapon, you're going to want to invest those 3 points over to Point Blank and probably drop Hematophagy or something. Then head up into the Templar area, go through standard stuff, through the Devotion, grab the Endurance Charge. You can see we get all 3 Endurance Charges on the wheel. Whenever you're leveling as it's convenient, grab Jewel Sockets and throw in your Wildfire Jewels for Molten Strike to give you the extra projectiles, and eventually just work your way on up to Elemental Overload. Big damage boost when it's active, and it's active pretty reliably with our 100% hit chance from the Effigon. and that synergizes really nice with all our fire damage. For your Ascendancy, go with the Chieftain. I decided to start off going Ngamahu Flames Advanced to get us our full fire conversion and fire pen, and of course it occasionally gives you that big boost of damage, which is really nice. And then over into Hinakora's Fury, just life leech, fire damage, and the chance to cover enemies in ash, which is of course more damage and slows them down. Then you can grab the last two in whatever order you want. I'm pretty sure I did Arawangwi Moon's Presence first. Just drop your Ancestral Protector or War Chief, whichever you prefer. Protector is definitely better for Molten Strike though, because the War Chief's melee damage will not apply to the Molten Balls. So go with the Protector on this particular build. Just lay it down near an enemy and they will do less damage and they will take more fire damage. And then finally just finished off with Tawa Forest Strength. Gives us nice auto endurance charges because everything's ignited when it dies because of Herald of Ash. And gives us a lot more life regen because it gives us 0.5 per endurance charge. That does it for the passive tree. I've discussed the gear. Other things, of course, like any Molten Strike build, you want to aim for your +3 Molten Strike projectiles helm enchantment. I went for a Starkanjas. This is really expensive, and it's probably one of the things you're going to want to save till last on the build. I used a Belly of the Beast chest. You can use whatever chest you want, but Belly of the Beast gives some really nice life, of course. Fill out the rest of your gear, just make sure you get as much life and resists. Make sure you cap your resists, get as much life as possible, and then pick up damage wherever you can. But really the main thing that separates this build from most Molten Strike characters that I've seen so far is just the use of the Effigon Amulet plus Elemental Overload. And of course we are taking advantage of the nice Chieftain stuff for full fire conversion. So you can watch out whatever is left of the duration of this Shaper fight in the background. I thank you guys for watching. There will be a full build guide, a scripted one, nice one coming up for my hybrid summoner that I'm working on as soon as I get level 21 gems and try to take down Uber Elder on that. As you can see, this Chieftain build takes down Shaper really easily. I tried Uber Elder on it several times and failed. Not very good at the fight yet, and that fight kind of lags me like crazy. But did not end up taking that down before scrapping this character, but hopefully the summoner will be able to take it down. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and turn on your little notification bell, and I'll see y'all in Rayclast.